This month for Wolftrap's AIM project, we are going to be creating surrealist art in the style of Salvador Dali. The first step in the project is to paint the background, similar to the one Dali created in this painting, where the dark blue sky transitions lighter and then a darker ground, much like an ombre effect. There will also be a clipboard in each cart if you would like to helpfully demonstrate at the front of the class for your students.
So we'll start with the white paint, and what I would suggest is maybe like 3/4 of the way down, half of the way down, to have them start the white. And they're really just big strokes of paint back and forth, and you probably won't even really see the white at first.
We jokingly said Mr. Miyagi it.
Yeah, little karate kid. Yeah. Here. Yeah. And that's just kind of like a baseline wherever they want to do, so they know they'll do the brown on the bottom and the blue on the top for the sky. The next thing we do is add just the blue straight out at the top, and kind of the same thing, just back and forth. And it can be, you know, as saturated as the kids want it to be. If they want it a darker blue, they can add a little bit more paint. I think with these brushes, it doesn't allow them to load up with a ton of paint, which is helpful. And again, they're kind of just looking at like maybe like an inch long strip for each of the colors. And then the white, I would just take some of the white and add it to your blue, or vice versa, to just kind of get, I'm not blending very well here, but to just kind of get like a next color. Just something that's a little bit lighter, and they can go up in the top and pull color down and kind of blend it a little bit more in there. And you just want to kind of, they'll just keep doing that maybe 2 or 3 times. Add a little bit of white and blue together to kind of get a lighter color. I don't know if mine's going to get super light.
You need a little more white?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, with the brown too.
I think you're literally out.
Okay, I'm literally out.
So that answers our questions. Little brown, little blue, lots of white. And when I say lots, I mean fill that hole. Not.
Yeah. And I'm just adding literally just now white to the bottom, which they can do. So we'll just do the reverse with the brown, where you start with the brown at the bottom.
No, she's just doing this.
That's a great idea. I'm trying to get as much coverage on the bottom here as I can. And I actually just glued my paper on the newspaper so it would stick, and then clip the newspaper so I wouldn't get paint on the clipboard. We are, yeah. And you can see just a little bit of white with the brown changes it. And I mean, they can do it straight across if they want to make it look like there's like hills, or, you know, however they want it to look is totally fine. So that's kind of what they'll end up with. Like if you see in our samples, and you have a little bit more time and you take it with paint, I mean, it blends in, it covers better. So they'll just let this sit, and then what they'll do next afterwards is they can just kind of push those out of the way a little bit. We'll give them a stack of magazines and scissors, and then they can just start flipping through magazines. And I would tell them, you know, just whatever piques their interest. Like if they see something that looks cool, they see something that looks fun, to just either they can tear out a whole page and just cut from there so other kids can look at the same magazines. And then when they feel like they have a few pieces, and you can see with these too, like there's not a ton of different things, just whatever they think looks cool. When you're restock, when you look at your cart, There's different types. There's a bunch of home magazines. There's, I think, some National Geographic. There's some Wired. There's some different types. So I would maybe just check when you restock or when you look at your cart, just make sure you have a variety of different ones. I don't know how many, do we need like 3 or 4 per table? Is that, so it'll be a little heavier with the magazines.
What we would do is have the kids encourage them to just tear out if they see something they like and they want to incorporate it, rather than holding the magazine and trying to cut it out, actually tear the page out and then cut from there. It's much easier to cut, and that way then the magazine can go back in the middle of the table for others to look at.
A lot of different stuff in it too that I thought was pretty cool.
We bring in like Boy Scout or Girl Scout magazines, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you guys have.
Highlighted system.
Women's Day would be great because it's going to have lots of cute images.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys have stuff, feel
Yeah.
free to bring them in and recycle them. Just kind of putting stuff together. Like, in a way, if you're just putting things around, like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think the idea is just the kids will pick images that they like, and then they'll put them together in a way that looks fun and unrealistic, right? Something like, have them think about, like, if you ever had a crazy dream where, you know, I don't know, and my zombies are not a good example, but my son was in a car and he said he was driving in a car and zombies were coming out of the ground, you know, but flowers coming down out of the sky, you know, things that are unrealistic, right? But the cool juxtaposition of it is the background looks real. So you have that realism of the background, and then the composition that they're putting together is what gives it that dreamlike surrealism vibe.